Well, definitely, not having the traditional sports that people are accustomed to seeing this time of year has caused, some drop off. But we have, as you noted, seen a lot of our customers pick up alternative sports and even, things like alternative content. We've been creating pools around TV shows and other sorts of interesting things. And, we're also very excited that some of the traditional sports are coming back. PGA has a great slate of events, slated for June. We have NASCAR now going, UFC. Hopefully we'll get some others soon, but it's really nice to see EPL recently announced plans to return mid-June. So hopefully it's the start of more and more of the traditional sports we all love and miss coming back.
My question is on basketball, because obviously there's a lot of talk, Jason, about how to get the NBA back in time for playoffs. How big would that be for you in terms of your revenue? And would it be enough to catch up from the lost business from not having March Madness?
It's been an interesting question we've been talking about. It's really hard to know. This is sort of an unprecedented situation. We never had, partial seasons and new formats. We've never had the kind of overlap we might see between sports in the second half of the year. Really hard to predict exactly how that'll come in. Obviously, we know a lot of people are home, and we're hopeful that, the pent-up demand for sports will lead to people participating more than they normally would, but really hard to predict until we start to get some more data on this.
Jason, we've asked a lot of people on this network whether or not the lack of sports betting taking place has pushed some people into the stock market instead. Do you, when you speak to your friends, your clients, your executives, get the feel that some people have done that? Or are they very different types of clients and bettors, as it were?
Particularly our daily fantasy sports customers have definitely indicated through some of their contacts with customer service and otherwise that they are doing a lot of stock picking now. And I think particularly when there was a huge downturn, a lot of people that were, it was kind of a nice, a perfect storm, if you will, where there was suddenly a lot of, stocks that were a lot cheaper than they were right before, back in mid-March. And you also had a lack of sports. So I think those two things did make a lot of our customers start paying more attention to the stock market. And, in some ways, it's not all that different. It's about analyzing, researching, and making good picks.
So to that point, Jason, do you think there's a lasting impact on this? On one level, do you think some of those customers have now got the stock market bug and they won't come back to sports betting to the same level? Or do you think some people are watching, for example, the German Bundesliga soccer, because that's been live and back for a couple of weeks, and perhaps will stay focused on sports like that and leagues like that in a way that they weren't before?
I think from what we're hearing and seeing, people are really hungry for sports to come back. You mentioned Bundesliga. We're seeing unbelievable participation in that relative to any other year. And of course, it's because there's not a whole lot of other soccer or anything else on TV right now. And so I think what people really hunger for and miss is the sport itself. The fantasy and the betting is merely a way to engage. And you can scratch that itch a little bit through alternate means. Some of it's stock market, some of it is playing iGaming and other products that we're offering, but people really want sports to come back.
I mean, your stock has been incredible on the whole reopening trade, and that sports will come back, Jason. There's also this idea that the virus will force more states to legalize sports betting as a way to fill their budget gaps, and we've already started to see that. What's your expectation on what we'll see there?
I definitely think it's a valid hypothesis that with more and more budget gaps in more and more states around the country, that as a result of the fallout of this pandemic, that you could see states turn to sports betting and even to iGaming as a way to raise more tax revenue. And it's a little early to know. I think rightly so. A lot of the state policymakers are focused now on dealing with the immediate issue of what the pandemic is causing. But I think once they start to feel good about that, once they feel good that their economies are reopening and things are safe, I do think the next thing they'll turn to is how can we fill some of these budget gaps, and hopefully this will be something, sports betting and iGaming, that they look at as a way to do that.